this lecture, we will be rendering our score panel. So let's go down here in order to render that. So in this while running loop, that is our main loop, we have drawn the beam and column, peaks, and updated physics. So after this, the second part of a sling, what you're gonna have is, I'll say, draw score here. So let's draw. So first will be score font. That will be only this static fonts, which will just be showing us a score in uppercase. So let me say that is bold font we created earlier when we just updated this physics. So basically here is bold font which has this Arial and size will be 30, and that would be bold. And this bold font should be render. So give the dot and render, and in this render we'll say the text. First text will be score. So this will be our text, and then give this anti-alias, that will be 1, and give the color here, that will be white. So we have now score font, and we'll see now number font, that is basically our score. So I'll say number font should be also bold, and render it. So it should be now string, that should be converted into string because we are dealing with this text. So text should be converted into the string, and I'll say anti-alias is 1, and again this give as white. So what should be inside this bracket, that is important. So if you see here that we have just initialized the variable, so we have just created in our initialize that with 0. So if you see in this base of the physics, you could see we have this score equal to 0. So that would be our string here, and just put in this case, in this parenthesis, this score variable. And let's now bleed this first and show you what is going to be the output. So first bleed it. So score font, so first score font should be bleed, that is our text basically, and give the position where it should be bleed. So let me say 1060, 90, the position for it, which will be at this rightmost position. And I'll say if score is equal 0, that means screen dot bleed, and just bleed this number font that we created here, and just give the position for it. So it should be down this, basically it should be at 1100, and give, okay, it should not be 1100. So let me say that if it is bleed at this position, I'll say okay 1100 and 130. Else if the score is not 0, so there should be the displacement in this score, because when it is 0, so 0 will just be at this position, but when the score increases, like let's say 1000 or 60,000, then the score should be displaced at this left hand side position. That means we'll just put this score, it's number font, that is our score. So let me say it's screen, and the position, give the position in this tuple, so that would be 1060. So there will be displacement in x, and there won't be displacement in y. So this little displacement is when the score increases basically. So if you run this game at this time, you would see something that our score, which was this 0, will be only printed, but this score won't be just giving you when you even collide with this bird or pig. When you just hit that pig and that pig will die, but your score won't be increased, because we have initialized something that is score would be here somewhere. Let me see, score would be 0, but this score has not been manipulated anyway, so it will just print us a 0. So where it should be manipulated, so where this score should be used. If you have ever played Angry Bird before, then you could visualize if we have collision between the birds or a pig or a wood or a pig, then we get our score increased. So let's implement that in this two collision method, that is in this collision bird and pig and this pig and wood. So let's implement that. So what we're gonna do here is, after this we have this pig to remove append, we'll just create this global and score, and just increase that score if there is a collision. So just increase that score every time with 10,000. And again we have now implementing this pig wood collision. Just go in this, basically in this append that you remove after this pig. So you could go in here, and after this what you're gonna check is, we'll just create this global score again, and we'll just increase that score with 10,000 here. So what this global is, because this change of the score, so that this change on the score will be visible in all of the score variable here. So that means if you have collision of this, so this will increase 10,000 and it won't start from 0 here. So instead it will make use of that score, that is score equal to 10,000, and just add it again this 10,000. And again this, after this pig and wood collision, if you have again this, basically what is collision about, so bird and pig collision, then it will just increase again this added 10,000 by 10,000. So this is basically global. That means this score will be visible in all of this score variable. So this score, change in this score will be visible in this score, and change in this score will be visible to here too. So we can run our game now and check if it runs correctly or not. So you can see our game is up and running. So when you just stretch this rope and just hit it, now you could see increase in this score. So there is a small fault here, so that would be when you just click here, so nothing happens. This pause button, we have rendered this pause button and nothing happens. And another is, we have added a multiple build, that is in go in this pie charm, and if you see in this level, you could see we have this 0 level and build 1, build 2, but there was no transition when we completed this level. So when you just open this again, and just when you just hit that, and we have just removed all of the pig from the gameplay. So if we remove all the pig in the gameplay, we should get the transition from this level to another level. So we haven't implemented that, so that will be in the next lecture. See you there.